Let's talk about some free editing alternatives to CapCut since TikTok will be banned, allegedly. We'll see. Hello, it's me. I'm Steven Allen. How are you doing today? I'm looking at my notes. I am talking about this or want to talk about this because we're also using rarevision VHS, or as I say, rarevision VHSs. My stomach might growl. I will eat after this. I know in all of my videos, I say my stomach is growling. It is because I either have not eaten yet or I just ate, so it's digesting or it's growling. It's always doing something. And I have the microphone right on me, so you might hear it. And I think with the rarevision VHS, the mic that it just changes the audio. So even though I have the settings where it shouldn't be oh no. Let me pause this and see if I can check the settings really quickly. How do I pause? Here we go. All right, I'm paused. So when you pause rarevision VHS, you can't check you can't change the main settings. I guess that makes sense, but I can't check it. Hopefully the audio is okay. We're using this audio as a backup, but it makes noises with my clothing these days. It didn't in the past, and I don't even know why. But yeah, the audio that comes directly with this app is like not as good as the regular camera app. Even though there is a setting where you can say don't degrade the audio, it still just doesn't sound the same. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about alternatives with editing. So I feel like you can do something like this so that you don't have to if you want like a different visual look, you don't have to edit it. I mean, you don't have to edit your videos anyway these days, right now, this trend that's happening, and post a longer video. But you can see that my videos are not getting a ton of views in this format, but I'm trying a new format, and you do have to give your videos a little time to breathe to see, because I have not posted so many videos all at once. Not all at once, but like daily. It's typically I would post at most 3 videos a week. So I think I would have more views if I was posting less often, but at least it would look like it, because that one video would have more time to reach my subscribers. But now I'm having so many videos posted that it's like, what's going on? But I want my videos to reach new people too. I have a light and it's kind of like bothering me. I think it's like strobing or something. That doesn't look good. It's like I need a little light on me, but it's kind of bothering me. But anyway, alternatives to CapCut. So I think you should use something like Premiere Pro. I struggle to suggest that because I'm like, the subscription service is so annoying. But Rush is okay, but you still have to pay for that, I believe. Maybe you don't have to pay for Rush, but I think you do. You have to be a part of the Creative Suite, the Creative Cloud, or I guess you could pay for it as an individual, but I don't think it's worth it for that. I think if you have the suite, then it's good. I do like CapCut, but there's so many features you have to pay for now because they're charging you for the captions. And that was kind of my default if I didn't want to do it with Premiere Pro, because often it can do it automatically, but it's not accurate always. And with CapCut, it was kind of like 99% of the time it was accurate with what it would think you're saying and where it would place the caption. And you can animate it easily. But beyond that, I mean, iMovie, that is not the move for me, because I tried using iMovie because I thought, I can just do a quick edit with this and get myself used to using that because CapCut might go away. And I wanted to move some of the templates that I was using in CapCut over to iMovie, but I couldn't do it because you couldn't even film a short. You couldn't export a vertical short like this. You would either have to do it like horizontally to get the full quality, or export it like this with black bars on the side and then crop in the Photos app after. I'm like, that can't be right. But I was watching tutorials on YouTube and people were saying that, but I guess I could just Google it. But I'm like, it's 2025. You don't have a way of exporting a vertical video where you have full resolution? Like, so beyond that, I don't know, because there are other editing apps you can use that you can download if you're looking for a mobile version, but I am not crazy about that, because the biggest thing about editing apps is that you want to have your file to use in the future. And these apps that are popping up, you don't know how long they will be a thing. Now, if there is an editing app that uses Premiere, which it wouldn't, I was like, that uses Premiere Pro as a project, what would it be called? Extension. But then they may not be compatible in the future, even if they are right now. I would just stick with Premiere Pro or Final Cut or Rush or DaVinci Resolve. I would look into that. DaVinci Resolve, because they do have, I wonder if they have a iPhone version, because they do have an iPad version, and they have a free version, and the full version you just pay once. DaVinci. But I like with Premiere Pro, no, DaVinci Resolve. Nope. It looks like there is not an iPhone version. But I like Premiere Pro because I can change where all the windows are and really customize everything. With Resolve, I've read and seen in tutorials that you can't really change where things are. And I want more control over it because I want to spread it across multiple monitors or keep it on one monitor. I can also make a version, like different workspaces. One if I'm using multiple monitors, or one monitor, or I'm working at home versus a laptop. So I like having that freedom and flexibility. And yeah, I mean, I don't know really, like, oh, you're hearing noises. I'm not editing this. Well, I am editing this, but I'm just editing certain portions. I'm cutting out a big chunk of space in the middle of this video. And then any noises you hear, any like sirens, helicopters, this is New York. That's where I am. So we'll just have to deal with the deal pickles. But CapCut really is taking up that space where it's kind of the industry standard for a mobile editing iPhone editor. Oh, and I was talking about projects. Yeah, like you want to be able to address your old files, because sometimes you will need to go back to an old project and export a higher version, an edited version, one without music, or change the music or whatever. And if you are using these websites that pop up randomly for editing, they may not exist in the future. And even if you still have it on your phone, it may not even load, because maybe it has to like connect to a server or something like that does not exist anymore. But Adobe, that could happen with them. It could happen with Apple. I mean, after 1,000 years, I'm sure it would happen anyway, but you're not going to be around 1,000 years unless we make some changes to the world we live in. But still, you just have more longevity with these apps that have been around for years and decades at this point. And the other thing with CapCut is that it's taking up storage on your phone. And after I was editing quite a few videos, I was like, no, we need to move over to Premiere Pro. But I do like how with CapCut, I always have it. So if I'm out and about and need to update a video or do a quick edit, I can use it. And Premiere Pro, I can remote into my computer with my phone, or I could use Rush, but it is easier to use CapCut over Rush with how it's made. And there are more features. And even though there's so many features with CapCut, it's just done well. But CapCut, you have to pay for it now to access a lot of the features you want to use. Because it used to be if you wanted special effects or titles, you needed to do the paid version, but now I believe it's still, you have to pay for captions. And that was a big thing. I was like, oh, I can do these captions and I don't have to pay anything more? Okay. But no, they got rid of that. They were like, no. No. You're taking too many of our coins, our time. So, but I mean, I'm going to Google right now, best alternative apps, or just best editing apps, best iPhone editing apps. And I'm curious what it says. Top 10. Adobe, no, let's say video editing apps. Let's be more specific. More Pacific. Because Lightroom is for photos. It's saying number 1. No, that's a sponsored post. Let's go LumaFusion. And I have heard things about that. Is LumaFusion for video, or it is video? I've heard things about that more so with the iPad, but to me still it feels kind of new, and I'm like, they may get purchased by someone and who knows. But they're saying LumaFusion, iMovie, some other ones that I haven't heard of, CapCut. I'm surprised that's not at the top of the list. Adobe Rush, Premiere Rush. And it's really not, it doesn't feel like Premiere. The only thing with Premiere Rush is that you can start a Rush project and then open it up in Premiere later and continue the edit, but you can't open it back up in Rush after you've saved it as a Premiere Pro project. So there's that. And Canva, I think, all right, I'm back. My phone said it ran out of storage, but I still had 17 gigabytes. So basically I film long videos on this phone and then I delete them, but I forgot to delete it out of the deleted folder. So it was basically like I didn't delete it, and I was like, oh, but I'm back. So I was talking about like what Google is showing. There are a bunch of apps, but again, you will have to go back to old edits, not as much for shorts, but for long form. And I mean, if you want to do a quick short edit, my computer might make some noises. The fan keeps cutting on, and I don't want to deal with that. I'm like, I don't want to edit this. I have to edit this now because of the clips and the but I don't want to heavily edit it. I don't want to have to go through and cut out the pauses and cut out the noises and the helicopters and the vampires and demons and all the stuff that are around. It's like, oh, I have to cut out because there was a ghost that walked by in the background. I was like, in the past, behind me. I mean, I live in a building that is elderly, so I'm sure there are some. I don't even want to say. We're gonna leave it alone, because if you address them, they show up. But yeah, there's so many different editing apps that have shown up, that have popped up. I just think you should stick with something that's going to be around, because you don't know if you have to go back to something, especially if it's a video that someone is requesting, like a sponsored video, a review video that someone wants, they might want to change. And if you can't change it, you're stuck. And you don't know what social media platform will pop up in the future. Like with YouTube, Shorts popped up. And so instead of, if you've been posting on YouTube, instead of having to, my chair is making noises, if you hear noises, instead of having to, start from the beginning, or take an exported version of your video and do a long form, or let's say you take a long form video, instead of taking the exported version and putting black bars at the top and the bottom when you cut into clips, or putting a fuzzy version of it blown up behind it, you can reframe it and zoom in and not lose quality with After Effects and with Premiere Pro. And maybe if you filmed it where you filmed it like far back and zoomed in on the horizontal version, you could just use the vertical. So there are options if you have access to your original projects, but then that also means you need the original files too. And a lot of people get rid of that. But I think there is a use in keeping it. My chair is making noises, I promise. See? That is the chair. That is the chair. That is not me. Just so there's no confusion. I was like, 20 seconds went by. There's 3 minutes. And now I don't even know how long this needs to be. I'm going to have to pause the video again. I'm going to have to stop the video. I have to stop the video. Okay. I don't know how much longer I need to film. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I was like, I don't want to edit this video. And I like heavily have to edit this one now. But I filmed a clip and I was like, I forgot how long that clip was. I want these videos to be 20 minutes long. I think there's an issue with trying to stretch out your video to 20 minutes because in the past I would stretch out my videos to 8 minutes, but I would edit out all the pauses where I'm like, what can I talk about next? But with this, I don't want to edit. And so I'm like rambling on. I don't really think that's like the move. That's why I think this should be a 10-minute long thing. And I want to do that now. I just want to switch over to 10 minutes, but I'm just concerned that if 20 minutes really is the golden number, that I will miss out. So I want to give it some time. I at least want to have just a few videos in the bank, in the vault, that are 20 minutes long. So if it does do the pop off, I can come back to it. But if I don't have enough videos sitting there that are 20 minutes, enough videos won't be there to get tested in the algorithm to see if that's the pop off number. So I'm just basically trying to do my best. My best. I have a, this is a clip-on, not a clip-on, press-on nail, because I wanted a little bit of color, but then I didn't want to paint my nail because that would take an hour for it to dry. And I didn't want to get it all over my clothing and everything. So I put this on. It was actually a really long nail and I cut it down and then I painted it. And it's kind of cool because the paint's been on here for, I think, a year, over a year. So that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's better to use the professional editing sites, editing services. You could also use iMovie on a laptop, but iMovie on a phone, like an iPhone, yikes. I was having issues with that. But I used to use iMovie on a laptop, not the most recent version, but at this point, it's a lot easier for me to open up the professional tool like Premiere Pro because I know where everything is. I know the shortcuts. I have my keyboard commands that I'm used to. And if ever I'm using Premiere Pro in someone else's computer, I'm like, I need my keyboard shortcuts. So you get used to that. And that's very nice to have. Final Cut Pro is something that people use, but I'm not crazy about the thought of the magnetic timeline. I haven't had experience with it, but just seeing videos online about it, I'm not crazy about it. I like the thought of using Apple stuff with Apple's computer, but Premiere Pro is available everywhere. I like with Apple, you pay once, or you pay once every 5 years, because I did have to pay for Logic again, even though they say you pay it once, but they updated the operating system so many times that they were like, nope, you got to pay again. So, but I think that the professional tools are better. So I would look into DaVinci Resolve if you want to pay once or you want it free. But if you really want to get into editing, Premiere Pro kind of is where it is, but there's so many issues with it that people step away from it. I also like with Premiere Pro how it organizes, or how you can organize the files however you want outside of the app, and you just attach them. You don't have to have them in one folder or a special bin. And then within the actual, did something fall? With the actual software, you can organize it the way you want to. And I believe in in Final Cut and DaVinci Resolve, there's less that you can do organizationally. With Final Cut, before the magnetic timeline version, you had to kind of dump all of your footage into or maybe, no, that's iMovie. You had to put all of your files in the project. so it would make the project really big. With Premiere Pro, the project is like no size at all because the files are where they are. So I could have my files on, I thought I had a, well, external hard drive out. You could put your files on an external hard drive like this, or like one that is not, like, that doesn't look like, you can see all of its internals and stuff. This is more of a hard drive that you would use in a laptop, and I just have it in an enclosure. But you can put your files on there. You can have it on a NAS or a NAS, Lil Nas X, a network attached storage device, or a direct attached storage device, a DAS, and you can have it on your computer itself. But it's nice that you can have it on other devices and not on the computer itself. I don't know if with the iPad, Final Cut on iPad, if you don't have to have the files on the iPad anymore, because initially you did. But that's the biggest thing with editing, where you keep the files. So you could also have the files on one of these. This is dusty. This is a Western Digital hard drive, and I have it labeled so I know it's 1 terabyte. You could have it on one of these, and you just plug a cable into your computer. I don't think it's great to have a ton of those or rely on a ton of those and just keep your files on there and think, oh, well, I'll address it in the future. I can come back to it. My stomach is about to growl. Yeah, you should have heard that one. I don't think I want to edit that out. I don't know if you did hear it or not, but I think, they fail. Those drives fail. I'm not saying that one does. I've had really good results with the Western Digital, but I had a Toshiba, and it just stopped working. Not to say that those are bad drives, but you never know which one. Actually, I did have a Western Digital that stopped working. I think it was a 2 terabyte. But I have a bunch of these what are they? Portable external hard drives by Western Digital, like 20 of them. And most of them, I would say all but one stopped working randomly. But that one that stopped working, I had it plugged in overnight. But then I have one over there that's been plugged in a long time. One like that's connected to a device that's been plugged in for a really long time, but it still works. And I haven't had any issues with it, so it just really depends. So whenever you have your footage, you want to back it up and have multiple backups of it. But that's for another video to talk about that. But hopefully CapCut does not go away, because I don't rely on CapCut. I don't use it. I use it all the time. I don't rely on it. Like, I have other ways I can get around using it, but it's just so convenient. And especially with a phone, it's the most convenient app to use. But it does take up your storage space, so you have to keep that in mind. So don't say I'm going to edit these 20-minute long videos on CapCut and keep going, because even if you delete the footage from your device in your Photos app, it's still on CapCut. And then you're like, oh, I ran out of space, I need to delete that, or let me just get a new phone, or let me get a phone with 1 terabyte of storage space. You need more than 1 terabyte if you're making a bunch of these YouTube videos, because you also have the exported version, the unedited version, the raw version, the version that's sitting in CapCut that's edited, and the version that's exported. So that's triple what you initially had. And then if you're doing a bunch of 20-minute long videos, if you're filming 1080p with just a regular iPhone, it's going to be at least 2.5 gigs. So after all is said and done, that would be like 7 something, maybe 8 gigs with the edited version, or with the file, the file that you have in the editing app with CapCut. With Premiere Pro, it doesn't do that. So something to keep in mind. Hopefully CapCut does not go away, but if it does go away, those are some alternatives to check out. So until next time, I'm Steven Allen. Hit the plus, hit the button, hit the follow, hit the subscribe. Until next time, take a little time to make art and be brilliant. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.